So over the last couple of days, I believe starting last week, Walmart Spark has deactivated a ton of drivers over identity verification and possibly a couple of other reasons. Stories of people being deactivated shortly after completing identity verification have been numerous on Facebook and Reddit. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what's been going on and bring everybody up to speed. I'll be discussing the possible reasons why it's happening, as well as going over the reasons people are being told by Walmart Spark that it's happening. And stay tuned to the end of the video to find out how you can possibly be reactivated if this does happen to you, or if this has happened to you. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and without further ado, let's jump into it. So over the last couple of days and over this weekend, there's been a ton of drivers, of Walmart Spark drivers, that have been posting on Reddit and Facebook about getting deactivated after completing identity verification. Now I want to break down what the identity verification is, because there's a couple of different things it's been. It hasn't all been the same. Now, some people are being asked to upload their driver's license up and are getting deactivated after that. Now, some people are doing the standard, live identity verification where you have to look straight, look left, look right. And after that, even though it's saying that they're activated, they might shop that day, but then the next day they're coming back to a message that their account is deactivated. Similarly, people are being asked to upload copies of their driver's license, and they're getting deactivated the next day after that as well. Some people are being asked to do both, doing both, so it's obviously them, and then still getting deactivated for whatever reason. Now, the messages that they're receiving about getting deactivated, it's saying basically similar things. The two messages that I've seen posted most often are, one, this failure to meet platform standards message, basically saying that they're suspecting them of fraudulent activity. Now, a couple months back, I posted a video about possibly getting deactivated for not updating my insurance, and that's also another reason I'm seeing people getting messages about, is that they're suspecting, or Walmart Spark is suspecting, that the insurance information people are uploading is fraudulent in some way. But based on the most recent video that I did about fraudulent activity and scammers and how Walmart Spark can't stop the scammers, based on the reasons I'm seeing for them deactivating, it feels like they watched the video and are trying to stop the scammers and are just doing a piss poor job at it, and it's getting legitimate drivers deactivated. Now, if you haven't been deactivated and you're currently still in good standing with Walmart Spark, there's a couple things that I recommend you check out and make sure are all in line or all in order before the next time you log in and go shopping. Number one, based on the information I just mentioned about insurance possibly being fraud, I went on there and checked, making sure my insurance was currently active, because that's an issue that I've had in the past. And luckily for me, my insurance doesn't expire until next month. So I'm getting started on making sure I'm getting that updated in advance, preventing any possible issues as much as possible. Another thing I recommend is checking that your driver's license is currently updated on there, that it's the same information that was on there the last time you updated it. And just to be sure that when you're taking your pictures and doing your identity verification, that it's making sure that it's checking for you. And I'll explain why you want to check that in a moment. But the other thing that I recommend you check on there is just all of your other information on the Walmart Spark website, your email address, your phone number, etc. Because my theory on what happened is that a couple months back, there was a verified breach in Spark where they admitted that drivers' accounts and drivers' account information was compromised. I don't remember if they said how many drivers were compromised, but they did confirm that driver information was compromised. I personally think that the scammers got that information, sat on it, or whoever got that information put it into sales or put it into rotation or whatever you want to call it. And the scammers are trying to take over accounts. And for them, they got a bunch of accounts. So if one gets deactivated or one fails, they can just pull another one out their ass and keep going. But for honest drivers like us who only have one account, who don't have a spreadsheet they can go to and just pull up the next driver's information and try to use that one, once we lose our account, we're just up shit's creek without a paddle. So nonetheless, there's two reasons I have hope that this issue may be resolved in the near future and people can get reactivated and get their accounts back. Number one, based on the screenshots I've seen from multiple drivers who have brought this up with support, this is a glitch that Spark knows about. I've seen screenshots of people who have chatted with Spark's driver support, and the driver support agents have said through chat, so it's documented, that it's a glitch, that they're aware of it, and that they're working on fixing it, or at least their technical team is working on fixing it. So being that they know it's an issue. Hopefully it's being resolved or is only an issue in the short term. On some polls that I saw on Facebook, one thing that I noticed is that a lot of people that were deactivated were on the newest version of the app, and as I've stated in the past, whenever there's a new app update, it often comes with glitches, and unfortunately this is the worst one we've ever faced. So hopefully this is a short one and done and gets gone and is good to go in the near future. And hopefully this isn't something that the drivers who are currently active have to worry about indefinitely, and we can feel comfortable doing identity verification the next time it pops up for us. The second reason I'm hopeful is that after the first wave of deactivations, there have been reports of mass reactivations going on as well. Now, I believe the reactivations are from people who were deactivated and then are appealing and getting reactivated. So if you've been deactivated, you may have to appeal, and I'll be talking about that and how to do that a little bit more later on in the video. But I want to be clear that not everybody who is appealing is getting reactivated, and even some of the people who are getting reactivated are then being deactivated again. So it's not clear what exactly is going on. It's not cut in stone that if you appeal, you get reactivated, and if you get reactivated, you stay reactivated. And considering the wide range of reasons that they're giving for deactivations, it wouldn't surprise me if they're doing the reactivations in groups or in tiers, waves, or something of that nature. But the underlying point remains, there's still a possibility to get reactivated and a method to get reactivated if you're looking to do so. Now, as far as the steps to get reactivated go, it's kind of like on a tier system. Like if level 1 doesn't work, then you go to this level 2 step, and if this level 2 step doesn't work, then you go to this level 3 step. So I'll be going over all of those, but just make sure you take the steps in order if you haven't taken them yet. So step number 1 in this process would be to file a formal appeal if you've been deactivated. So to do this, you would go into the DDI driver portal, and I'll put a link to get there if you don't know it already in the description or in the pinned comment below. But once you get in there, there's an appeal form that you're going to click on, fill it out, send it, and then basically wait until Walmart Spark gets back to you with their decision about your appeal. From what I've heard or what I've seen, it takes about 5 days for that process to play out. And hopefully that's the only process you have to take and you get reactivated and you don't have to go on to step 2. But if you don't get reactivated and you have to go on to step 2, here is step 2. Now, step 2 is technically part of the arbitration clause in the terms of service or the TOS. But basically you're gonna have to request, let me check my notes here, informal telephonic dispute resolution conference. I'm just gonna call it a pre-arbitration call from here on out, because pre-arbitration call is what they're calling it on the social medias, on the Facebooks and the Reddits. But you want to call it the long name when you're requesting it so they recognize it and you're doing everything by the book. And you request it at this email address. I'll put it down there. Once again, checking my notes, the email address is SparkAppNotices@walmart.com. Now, if you've been on Facebook and Reddit, you should have already seen this email address, hopefully, but if not, it's going to be, once again, in the description and pinned comment below for your convenience. So when you reach out to this email address, it's like an escalation of your appeal. This is the level 2, and it's technically meant to prevent full-on arbitration, because I guess that's more expensive, costs a lot of time and money, but hopefully it's the step that gets you reactivated and you don't have to go on to full arbitration. Now, there's been chatter on a lot of the posts I see on Facebook and Reddit about there being a 45-day rule, or if they don't complete this pre-arbitration in 45 days, it's illegal. But I'm not sure about that, but this is what I've learned about it from what I've read in the terms of service. So if you request this informal telephonic resolution dispute conference call, Walmart states in their arbitration clause that that call should occur within 30 to 45 days of that written notice, basically that email that you send to that email address, unless an extension is mutually agreed upon, with the keyword being mutually. So reading between the lines, if you guys don't agree on a mutual extension, basically on day 46, Walmart Spark would be in breach of their terms of service. And by the way, just to be clear, I'm not a lawyer. This isn't legal advice. I'm just some dude on the internet yapping on the YouTubes. But if for whatever reason they don't get back to you within 45 days and it's day 46, I recommend you contact a real lawyer, or at least somebody with a legal background, and see what they say about it. See where you can go from there. But I digress. Basically, if you get no results or don't get reactivated after completing that pre-arbitration call, then you can move on to formal full arbitration or full-on arbitration. And once again, to be clear, you can't do full arbitration until you've completed that pre-arbitration according to their terms of service. So now when it comes to the full-on arbitration, that's when you get to a bunch more terms of service that I'm not going to go over everything, but I'm going to go over the highlights. And I recommend, if you actually have to get to full arbitration, read through that entire piece of the article, because there's a lot of little caveats that it seems they've put in place there to give them the opportunity to instantly deny your arbitration. So here's a couple of things that I pulled out of the article to make sure that you want to at least catch these things. Number one, your request for full arbitration has to be in writing, but it can't be typewriting. It has to be in handwritten form. You have to give them your demand for arbitration in handwriting, and has to be signed, hand-signed signature. I don't know what you would call that, but no rubber stamps basically. And it has to be sent by snail mail, the old school mail, you know, with the envelope and paper. But I feel like they made it snail mail to make it discouraging, especially for the younger generations. But that's just my opinion. So you have to have that handwritten, hand-signed snail mail letter sent to Walmart's legal department in Bentonville, Arkansas. If you do that, by the way, I suggest doing certified mail or one of those things where you have to get the signature confirmation so you know they received it, and the snail mail mailing address that you would send it to. I'm just gonna put that down there in the pinned comment. As a matter of fact, if you want to get your jollies reading this information on your own, it's easy to find it in the app. You basically go into the Walmart Spark app, go into the settings, and then go into the non-disclosure and dispute resolution section, and it has all that arbitration information in there. Once again, read what's required to send in for full arbitration and all their little caveats about the states, and there's a ton of caveats in there. So make sure you go through all of that before submitting for a full formal arbitration, because I'm sure they put a bunch of those caveats in there specifically to make sure normal folk get tripped up and get instantly denied. So hopefully you never need to do all that, but if you do, make sure you read it all thoroughly. So if you got value from this video, be sure to like and subscribe. And if you want to learn more about the scammers and schemes that caused Walmart Spark to attempt this purge in the first place, and why it might take the FBI to actually stop the scammers, then watch this video now.